City Attorney, do we have anything to report out?
Yes, there were 3 items on the closed session agenda. Item number 1, the City Council gave direction to its labor negotiators. Items 2 and 3, the City Council gave settlement direction to its legal counsel. And that ends the closed session report.
Thank you. This special City Council meeting is now adjourned. Before I begin the regular City Council meeting, I would like to inform the members of the public that I will be taking public comment for non-agenda public comment and for items on the agenda via our teleconference line. Those wishing to address the City Council meeting may call 562-299-6622 when I make that announcement. Persons speaking are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. Your comments will be recorded and you will be advised when your time has ended. Once your time has ended, the call will be immediately disconnected. For those who have submitted their comments via email, your comments will be read into the record at the appropriate times during the meeting, and no additional public comment will be permitted via teleconference. I would now like to call to order the regular City Council meeting. City Clerk Duarte, will you please take roll?
Mayor, before I call the roll, I would like to inform members of the public that Council members Ashton and Saab are participating in this council meeting via teleconference. Council member Ashton?
Here.
Council member Rodriguez is excused. Council member Saab?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Frometa is excused, and Mayor Pacheco.
Present. I would now like to have City Attorney Yvette provide us the invocation.
Okay, if everybody could stand. We gather together here today intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us this task. May our efforts be blessed with insight, guided by understanding and wisdom. We seek to serve with respect for all. May our personal faith give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I would now like to have our city manager lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Place your right hand over your heart and repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Now is the time for City Council member announcements, requests for future agenda items, conference and meeting reports. I will start off with Councilmember Alex Saab.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll keep my comments short. Just want to thank staff for continuing to work hard under these pressing situations. I know that we've gotten a little bit of glimmer of hope today in the news from the governor's office. I know that several of us have received inquiries from the public, from businesses, and asking us to assist them in what in essence is a Los Angeles County public health decision, and we certainly hear them and we feel their pain. But I just hope that the public continue to understand that these are decisions that are made at the county level, and we obviously are here to do what we can. But as a city without a health department, as most cities in our size do not, we need to rely on those experts that have the training and the data to make those informed decisions. So believe me, we want everything to open up as much as you do, but we want to make sure it's done responsibly. So I just wanted the public know about that. Today we had an opportunity, the mayor and I, to go out to TLC and receive a very generous donation from the Downey Elks Club 2020. Just want to reach out to them, tell them say thank you for their generosity. Once again, they continue to be great community partners, and they also came to City Hall and presented a check for one of our senior programs. Just want to recognize their efforts. I know especially in this day and age, it's not easy for nonprofits to to raise funds, and they always do a great job and put it right back into the community. For staff, there's 2 items. I know it's been a while, and I know we're all kind of we've reshuffled our focus a little bit, but if we can please come back with what our plan is going to be to redo the southwest corner of Paramount and Firestone. That's the corner. I'm sure our city manager, you know what I'm talking about. Caddy corner from the 76 station. I know we put like a kind of a I don't know, temporary, I guess you want to call it, or kind of an experimental thing there. And I know John Oskey's was out for a while, and I understand. But if we can just make sure that doesn't fall off our radar, I would appreciate it. It's obviously probably one of our most driven by thoroughfares in the city, or the most amount of traffic in our city. So I want to make sure we have something there. And then the second thing, if we can, for city staff, I want the city to look into maybe being a little more receptive or flexible and allowing some more outdoor space for our restaurants. I know that it was in the news recently, Long Beach and some of the other LA has kind of been warm and receptive to allowing or embracing some of the restaurants to allow for outdoor eating or outdoor space. And I know sometimes there's some challenges in our city. I know there's some encroachment permit issues, but if there's any way we can maybe take a look at that and see if we can maybe expedite those requests where appropriate. I mean, I know we're all trying to do what we can to help our businesses here in the city, and I don't know, that's just one that I think may be worthwhile to look at. And I'm sure we have, but if we can make sure we take a look at that, that would be great. And then lastly, and I don't know, I'm certainly not advocating for it. I don't know if maybe I think it's worth looking at or considering or talking to the downtown business district about maybe having some kind of temporary closure of Downey Avenue to allow either some businesses to expand it to the outside, and maybe we can do it once a week or whatnot. But I think that the conversation needs to be had with the downtown business district, and maybe even the chamber and the city, and see if maybe we could take a look at that. I think I forgot what city recently. I think it was Monrovia recently, and I know some of the cities that have done it. They have obviously very different downtowns than we do. Every downtown is different, but so that's why I don't know if it will or will not work. But I think if we can take a look at it, that will be great. So that concludes my comment, Madam Mayor.
Madam Mayor, if I may, those 3 items actually, Councilmember Saab, I'm glad you brought those up because they're paramount importance to staff as well. And we're actually working on all of those items that you mentioned, the Paramount intersection and Florence, Firestone, sorry. Outdoor dining as well. And I want to assure the council that we're going to do everything possible to help our businesses get up and running and doing whatever we can to facilitate them getting back in business.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, City Manager. And I know you have, and we have all the confidence, and just wanted to bring that up. So thank you.
Thank you. Good comments. Next up, we have Councilmember Sean Ashton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to be real brief, I'm starting, since we just had the Memorial Day weekend, I think we just kind of started getting into fireworks season, especially around my neighborhood. Yeah. I don't know if we can have a police and the fire departments kind of look into first and foremost our plans for the 4th of July to make sure that we are on top of doing what we can to catch as many people using illegal fireworks. And then also if we can start, especially on the weekends, but actively starting to look into having unmarked cars out to kind of help with enforcement of fireworks, even outside of the 4th of July holidays. So that would be my only ask. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much.
if
About
if
the
I may.
fireworks?
Yes, Councilmember Ashton, thank you. Actually, at our last executive staff meeting, that was a point of discussion. We're actually in preparation for that now. We'll bring back a report to you in terms of what we're doing. There have been some changes that we did from the last time, including an app presence as well in the Downey app. But we'll bring back what we're doing. It's always a challenge trying to navigate through 4th of July with the legal and illegal fireworks going off at the same time. So, but we will bring some back to you.
I did want to add upon that regarding the fireworks. It is a complaint that I also received from one of the residents. Just a question: Are we, or is our PD? Can they also do extra patrolling in regards to that?
Yes, I mean, look, every year this time we really beef up,
Mhm.
and it's a real challenge because things are going off all over town, and so we're trying to triage those things as we move forward. But yes, we will do everything possible to make sure that we address those issues. And every year we get around to discussing whether or not we're going to continue having fireworks sold in the city or not. And at some point, I think that's always an issue. But we will do everything possible and to mitigate as much of the illegal use as we possibly can. And again, we'll bring something back for the council to consider.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. And welcome everyone to our council meeting. And I'd like to start off by congratulating the class of 2020 from Downey High School and from Warren. These are strange times we're in. I never could I ever imagine a day that would come where our seniors couldn't celebrate prom or have graduation ceremonies. But those are the times that we are in. So I just want to commend our graduates for finishing high school. I know many of you will go on to colleges and four-year universities, and we'll have many more accomplishments to celebrate. I wanted to mention next an event that we recently had. It was a food collection drive over at Downey First Christian Church. I want to thank everyone who donated any canned food and items to Downey First Christian Church. The food will be helping families who are in need during these difficult times. Food Help provides meals to families every Saturday morning over at Downey First Christian Church, located on Downey Avenue and 2nd Street. Also, in regards to graduations, I had the pleasure of participating in a graduation parade for a Downey High School resident. It was thanks to the Martinez family who allowed me to participate in their son, Enrique Martinez's graduation parade. And their son was especially excited to have Downey PD. So I don't know if our police chief can hear us, but I just want to say thank you for having this little mini parade for our graduate and for all the little mini birthday parade celebrations that we've had. I know there haven't really been parades, but at least having a few presents from Downey PD and just wishing happy birthday and congratulations has meant the world to a lot of these families. So I just want to thank our chief for doing this, our police officers for doing this for these families during this difficult time. So thank you.
It's our pleasure, Madam Mayor. We're happy to help.
Thank you. Also, yesterday, we continued our tradition of having a Memorial Day wreath laying ceremony. It was not your normal ceremony, but even during these difficult times, we need to honor those who have served and have given their lives for us to enjoy our freedoms. And so for that reason, we still held our Memorial Day wreath laying ceremony, and Councilmember Saab and Councilmember Rodriguez were in attendance along with Senator Bob Archuleta. So this was still something that we continued on having as a tradition, and it was important. It is something that is important for our cities to honor those who serve. Also, as was mentioned, the Downey Elks Lodge provided an additional donation. and 1,000 is going towards our senior meals program, and $1,000 is going to our Downey TLC. So a big thank you to the Downey Elks Lodge. And just like Councilmember Saab mentioned, we've been getting a lot of questions from businesses who are anxious to open and actually reopen. We're anxious also to see all of our businesses reopen, but we are under LA County's Department of Health. And what is important to the county and also here in the city of Downey is that when we do reopen, it is in a safe manner, safe for everyone. But it is something that we're looking forward to, and hopefully we'll be given further guidance sometime this week as to more reopenings that will be happening. So I ask our businesses to be patient, and just that we will soon enough reopen in a safe way, and we will get through this.
Madam Mayor, if I, just a couple of things. For those of you who cannot see the streaming on YouTube in this age of Zooming and whatnot, we're having technical difficulties with that. So we will record today's meeting and post it so that people will have an opportunity to see it. But we are not able to stream right now. There's an issue. I'm not sure what it is, but there is an issue with the streaming of the video to YouTube. So.
Thank you. Now is the time for non-agenda public comment. Members of the public wishing to address the City Council regarding...
Mayor.
I'm
we have a
sorry.
presentation before
I
the
am sorry,
non-agenda
I
public
skipped
comment.
that. Yes. We do have a presentation. Today we have the pleasure of having an update regarding COVID-19 by our City of Downey Emergency Manager, Racty Cloak.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Racty Cloak. I am the City of Downey's emergency manager. Thank you for having me this evening. The last time I was here was March 24th. So today I would like the opportunity to kind of share some updates of what's been happening since then. So I'll cover just the timeline. I will talk a little bit about the current stats, cover what Downey has done in response, and what is the safer at home order now, and what you can do to stay informed. So we're following this since our last time I was here, March 27th, the county did close their beaches and trails. April 1st, we saw County Public Health recommend cloth face masks. And I think everyone around the city's been kind of wearing those around now, including city staff. April 2nd, Downey did adopt 2 urgency ordinances regarding repayment of unpaid rent for residential tenants and a temporary eviction moratorium for commercial tenants. Also on the 2nd, the fire department opened its Department Operations Center, which is an opportunity for department leaders to come together, look at what resources we have and how to best strategize and respond accordingly. The 10th, the county did extend their safer at home order to May 15th. On the 12th, we saw our city parks close for Easter. I just want to remind you that Downey city parks were open and available for people to walk through. We did close the playground areas, but people were able to walk through, and the only time we closed the park was really for Easter and Mother's Day. April 14th, the governor unveiled 6 key indicators for health order modification. And this was the beginning when we start talking about recovery. The 16th, City of Downey issued a wellness check protocol for staff, ensuring that we can still continue to come to work and also ensure everyone's safety. The 24th, Downey, in collaboration with the county, hosted a free food distribution event. It helped distribute food to 1,262 households, which meant 5,427 individuals were impacted. So that was great. Everyone came together to help. April 28th, California's pandemic recovery roadmap was shared. On the 1st, the governor announced the closures of state beaches and parks. The county did issue an isolation order and quarantine order. May 4th, we saw the governor's plan for phase 2 of the reopening for May 8th. And then on the 8th, the governor did reopen state parks, trails, and certain non-essential businesses and for curbside pickup. On the 8th, Downey also received its approval for its cost recovery application through FEMA. Downey also reopened select businesses. On the 9th, Downey Rio Hondo Golf Course reopened. The 10th, Downey closed the parks for Mother's Day. On the 13th, county moved to stage 2 of recovery and issued an updated health order with the reopening protocols for certain non-essential businesses. And as our mayor shared earlier, we did help support a food collection drive at Downey First Christian Church, collecting over 4 pallets of food. And the 14th, Downey also reopened his tennis courts at Independence Park. So as we can see, we are following, as Madam Mayor did share, the guidance by the county of reopening, and we are trying to do it in a safe and prudent manner. I do apologize, I didn't move the slides sooner. So these are some great photos taken since then. Where are we at right now? As of May 20th, the current statistics related to COVID-19 is we're looking at 40,857 confirmed cases in LA County. We saw 1,970 deaths. And I know sometimes with these numbers, it's really hard to just kind of gauge, but unfortunately these numbers is affiliated with an individual. So my condolences to the families who are impacted by COVID-19. In Downey, we saw 472 cases and unfortunately 17 deaths. What are some of the things that city facilities have done to try to mitigate some of the efforts? So while there may have been a physical closure of city facility, all city services have been available remotely or by appointment. So we did not stop business. And here's a picture of how we've been collecting plans. People were able to drop them off and pick them up. And this worked out really well. We are also putting up plexiglasses and 6 feet distance markers at city facilities that are open. Other things that we've been doing, the city's Emergency Operations Center continues to operate. We do work virtually. Here's a picture of everyone when we meet. We continue to update our frequently asked questions for both staff and for public. There's some staff are still working, doing telework. There are health screening for staff who does come in person to work. And we have distributed several masks to city staff. COVID-19 websites are continually updated and the hotline continues to be staffed. And we offer both English and in Spanish. The EOC is still at a level 2, which means partial staffing. The fire department continues to work with local hospitals and nursing facilities to monitor the surge levels. And we continue to coordinate with our local school, hospitals, supermarkets, and surrounding cities. On the week of May 11th, Parks and Recreation did serve 1,426 senior meals, conducting 97 home deliveries and 760 phone wellness checks. And this is an ongoing effort that continues as we move forward. Other efforts by other departments. Parks and Recreation, the Space Center, and the library keeps community engaged through our virtual programs. We see a diagram here of we've been using YouTubes and other video programs available. Columbia Memorial Space Center used their 3D printers to help to make personal protective equipment that you see there as well. And we have distributed cloth masks to the public through Downey Unified School District, our senior meal programs, and the library. While we're not quite ready to reopen our city facilities to the public, we are preparing for that when the county provides that guidance. So we have looked into getting plexiglass for our public counters, acquiring cloth masks for the public when they're entering city facilities, health screening checks for visitors, and creating 6 feet markers to ensure social distancing. What is the Safer at Home order now? We're currently at this phase 2 of recovery, reopening non-essential retail businesses for curbside pickup. Golf courses are open, tennis courts are open, and other non-essential businesses are also open. And again, I want to note that Downey's parks have always stayed open during the safer at home order with the exception of Easter and Mother's Day. And as always, City Hall continues to provide services remotely or by appointment. And we will continue to follow the county's guidance for reopening to ensure that everyone is safe while also ensuring that our businesses can get up and running again. So how do you stay informed? There's many ways you can stay informed. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We have our COVID-19 website. You can just go to Downey's city website, and that's the first thing you'll see. Feel free to call Downey's coronavirus hotline at 562-299-6711. And if you want more information about Downey Senior Wellness Check Program, you can always also call us at 562-904-7238. And that is including my update. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions?
Any questions? Questions? No? Great job. Thank you. Now is the time for non-agenda public comment. Members of the public wishing to address the City Council regarding non-agenda public comment only may now call our teleconference phone line at 562-299-6622. For those who submitted comments via email, your comments will be read into the record and no further public comment via teleconference will be permitted. Before we begin the non-agenda public comment period, I would like to remind members of the public participating telephonically that the city's meeting rules contained in the Downey Municipal Code prohibit any conduct that disrupts, disturbs, or interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting, even if you are participating telephonically. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to address this council on issues that are within the city's jurisdiction. Since we are under a federal, state, and local emergency declaration and Los Angeles County Safer at Home order, I will limit this non-agenda public comment period to 30 minutes pursuant to Downey Municipal Code Section 2105G. City Clerk Duarte, do we have any speakers?
Yes, Mayor.
Can we have that first speaker?
Hello, please state your name and begin speaking.
Hi, this is Catherine Alvarez. Good afternoon to everybody. So my comment goes to all of you that it's just so ridiculous that YouTube is not working when you guys have more than a week to fix the problem. Second, you guys came out saying that there is 400 cases of COVID-19 positive in this city when it's not true. It's 578 cases and 21 deaths. Okay, and you guys are planning to open. Another thing, why are we not having a housing department in our community? Those are questions for all of you. Why do we have to go to another city to get help to help pay the rent? Why do we have to go to the hotel? It is a shame the city of Downey doesn't have no help for tenants. It's just ridiculous. LA County have a program to help pay rent. Guess what? We're not part of LA County. So we cannot apply for that. Thank you so much for you guys. Thank you so much for having you guys sitting down in those chairs for not doing anything for the tenants. Have a wonderful day.
Next speaker.
Please state your name and begin speaking.
So where's the fat bitch? Don't you see what's happening? We're getting bids to do work without public input. And likely just the same problems that we had with infrastructure and the Measure SSS, all these fucking broken promises the last dickhead mayor promised and we didn't get shit finished. So it all comes to one conclusion. We go to church and pray. I heard Gavin Newsom open up church for us to pray that we all die together when China fucks us up during our bad economy like the one we're experiencing now. So what bid do you want? The bid from China or the bid from fucking Eric Caca Garcetti, who don't do shit to help anyone in the state of California with that other moron, jackass, piece of shit governor. So Donald Trump was right. Our bid is this. We bid you farewell, O city of Downey. For the triad of God is coming to condemn those who have condemned those living in nursing homes. Didn't you hear? Janice Hahn, Catherine Barger involved in killing people in convalescent homes? Are any of those people dead yet across the street from the promenade? All those homeless people living in those old age homes? We should do an investigation and see if they didn't contract COVID-19. And if they did, then here's the message, 42 USC 1983, fuck you for not helping people in need. What a shame. And regarding 2020 graduation, fucking hope you don't have to fight the Asians because they're 15-1. And if you're a pussy, you're going to die. God bless America. God bless Trump. Let's get back to work. Open up all our businesses. Churches open. Go pray. Fucking work. Get your ass off the couch and go back to work. Thank you.
Please state your name and begin speaking.
Yes, this is Joey from the city of Downey. First off, just right off the bat, you guys have been running this meeting and your YouTube channel has not been properly set up. So we can't see who's speaking or what you guys are doing, and in many cases, people can't even hear what you guys are saying. So this is completely a violation of the Brown Act, and if you guys are conducting actions during this time where the people cannot be present for your activities or to hold you accountable, then this is a huge problem, and you need to fix this before you continue with anything else. Second, Donna Skewy, the assistant manager of Downey needs to be fired. I don't know why you haven't done anything about this. I don't know how many people we got to tell. The city knows. There's videos on this on the internet. You've been told, and you've had other elected members come and present during comments at Downey City Council. So you can no longer pretend you don't understand or you don't know what's going on. So take immediate action now, City Council members, because you're going to find out real quick. Some people are only here to serve the best interests of private water purveyors and attorneys. Finally, in regards to the mayor, I need you to be aware that almost the attorney law firm, they have been part of grotesque lawsuits that have involved protecting private water companies, protecting corrupt policemen, and screwing over our community by charging millions and millions of dollars. So I know you're aware of this. I know that Mayor Blanca Pacheco is considering working for these people. If you're gonna align yourself with crooked attorneys that only screw the people over, then that already indicates strongly where you fall on the scale. There's no reason to be working with these people. They are the ones that are trying to lead a lawsuit and benefit from our communities, the lawsuit against the water basin. And that in itself, it's already a conflict of interest. But now to have our mayor not only represent Downey, which is leading the lawsuit against Central Basin, but join in the group of attorneys that are helping conduct this lawsuit, that's even more problematic, and it's awful optics. You need to recuse yourself, maybe step down politically if you're gonna uphold a new
Time is
career.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Please state your name and begin speaking.
Yes, my name is Brian Heyman. My public non-agenda comment item is that I think City Council should direct staff to reopen City Hall, including the City Council chambers, on June 1st. We don't need to wait to receive direction or permission from the county health officer to do that. Other cities, especially in the South Bay, have reopened their city halls using the guidance for social distancing, putting up partitions, limiting the numbers of people in meetings and that kind of thing. So it can be done. And this is not an optimal way for citizens to participate in their government. You really need to get City Hall open again. And you need to set a date to make it happen. Otherwise, it won't happen. We need to focus on a date for reopening. And if the infrastructure improvements haven't been made to allow for social distancing, et cetera, in City Hall, why not? You've had 6 weeks to get it done. Put up the partitions, lay out the striping, the little footprints on the floor, make sure everybody has PPE, you've got rules posted and whatnot. But we can't go on anymore like this. It's beginning to look like you're hiding behind COVID-19. Get City Hall open, get council chambers open, lead the way for the rest of the community. Don't wait for Mr. Levis to tell you it's okay to open. Don't wait for Ratke to tell you it's okay to open. You're the leaders. Make a decision, open City Hall, open the council, do it June 1. Thank you.
Please state your name and begin speaking.
Hi, my name is Alex Contreras. I am calling in to talk to the City Council because I'm very disappointed with the lack of leadership and initiative that the City Council is bringing to the city. There's a lack of concern with how our public space is being currently used, and there's a lack of concern in ensuring that the small businesses that make Downey unique not only survive but thrive during this unprecedented health crisis. And there is also a lack of concern for renters in the city, and this all negatively affects our public health as a whole. With June 1st approaching quickly, that means rent is due for many people in the city, businesses, as well as residential renters like myself. And the city must act urgently to protect not just residential renters, but commercial renters from the eviction process, from the beginning of the eviction process. In the past few months, we've seen other cities like Oakland lead an example by creating Safe Streets program, extending deadline for renters to pay back the rent, as well as delay the eviction process. But the city of Downey has done none of that and instead have been slow in action. I didn't have much faith after considering that the city council also voted to prevent evictions from happening back in December that was due to no fault of people's it was a no-fault eviction, but I'm really concerned that the city is not going to be acting quick enough. June 1st is approaching, and I'm asking that the city take special urgent need and show the community that they care. Thank you.
Please state your name and begin speaking.
Good afternoon. My name is Leticia Vázquez Wilson. I'm an elected official, member of the Central Basin Municipal Water District. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the council. I come before you to request 10 to 15 minutes to come before your legislative body to answer any questions or concerns you may have regarding the lawsuit the mayor and the council filed against me personally approximately 2 months ago. Case number 20SPCP 01180, filed in LA Superior Court, Department 85. I'm very concerned about the numerous false allegations that are being made against me by the mayor and members of the city council, and I would really appreciate an opportunity to come before your legislative body to answer any questions or concerns you might have about my role as a director at the Central Basin Municipal Water District. Thank you very much for your time. I will forward a copy of the lawsuit to put into the public record to each of the elected officials, council members, mayor, and also the city clerk. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Please state your name and begin speaking.
Hello. So My name is Rodolfo Cortez. I'd like to discuss a few issues. First of all, the City Council should not take any advice to reopen either the City Hall or really anything else. Instead, the City Council should take a very different direction that prioritizes human needs like shelter above the economy, above money. So we should not be living in a society where we prioritize the health of money over the health of the people. What the City Council should actually be doing, and they've started a tiny bit, but it's definitely not enough. It's not enough to have $25,000 for a city of 100,000 people for rental assistance when 60% of the people are renters. No. It's time, as I've stated many times on these calls, for Ms. Blanca Pacheco, the mayor, and the rest of the people on that council to use their status, influence, power to do everything they can to make sure that the federal and state governments forgive the rents and the mortgages. People say it can't be done. Well, do you remember when we forgave the banks? The government forgave the banks. Why can't they forgive the people? There's no reason except lack of political willpower. And maybe the government wants to oppress the people some more. So they say, oh, go back to work, when in fact going back to work is a death sentence. And that's actually where we're going to start seeing, if the economy does open up, if people do start going back to work, a lot more people are going to catch the virus. So that's because we live under a government that does not prioritize the needs of the people. Hence, the City Council should do everything in its power, which it certainly is not, as of right now, do it. If you don't do it, the people, thankfully, we thank the Downey Tenants Union for their organizing yesterday against Supervisor Hilda Solis. 50 people showed up outside Hilda Solis's house demanding justice for the people. Do you all want 50 people to show up outside your houses? It's time to use every little bit of power you have to help the people. All right? People are sick and tired of your inaction. You better start doing better, or the people will remember your inaction.
Please state your name and begin speaking.
Rosario Sandoval. Good evening. I just want to say my first situation that I want to speak about is that why does Downey Hospital does not want to help the COVID-19 people? Me and my husband went to the hospital. We both got COVID, and they didn't want nothing to do with us, Downey. We went to the one on Lakewood, and they took us, and they told us that was something that they should have never done. So my understanding, the reason why I'm explaining the situation is because I have 3 kids, and I can't see my kids, and I live in Downey, and there's no help. There's nothing being done whatsoever with the city mayor. And I think that's very unsatisfying, very discriminatory, and that's something that everybody in Downey should be helping with each other, especially the mayor, knowing that there's a lot of people at risk. There's a lot of people that probably you guys don't want them to find out or don't want to keep count on how many people are being affected, just so you guys can wash your own hands. And that's very devastating to know that there's a lot of low-income families that don't have the money to pay the rent, don't have the money to buy food, and you guys don't have the audacity to go out there and feed the people and give them what they need. The churches are the ones giving out the food. You guys are not providing the food. We already found out amongst other people that you guys are not doing nothing. So I don't know why you guys are sitting in your high chairs and you're saying that you guys are helping when you guys are not. You guys should be ashamed of amongst yourselves, especially for your own kids and your grandkids.
There's people actually dying. This is serious. This is not a joke. It's so sad to know that. You guys don't care about other people, and that's okay. Because one day you guys are going to see Judgment Day. And it's not going to be us. It's going to be amongst God. You guys are going to see it through. And it's not going to be us. There's a lot of people that are dying there's no food. They can't pay the rent. They can't pay anything. The kids can go to school. They don't have lunches for their kids. There's nothing being done whatsoever. And you guys sitting there lying about everything that you guys are saying. I think it's full of bullshit.
Those are all the calls, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. City Clerk Duarte, do we have any written public comment on a non-agenda items to be read into the record?
Yes, Mayor, we have two. The first one is from Karen Osorio. It's regarding legalized cannabis activity in the city of Downey. Make medical and adult use cannabis safe and legally available to residents in the city of Downey. Will provide tax revenue for the city and a safe market for patients and customers to obtain cannabis during these high anxiety times of world pandemic. Do not isolate Downey further from the world and other cities that voted for their right to legalize the use and marketing sales of healthy, safe methods of procuring cannabis via stringent ordinances, standards, and guidelines towards obtaining and maintaining permits and licensing for retail delivery and/or manufacturing of cannabis for our residents. In turn, improving our immediate community by providing individuals opportunity to become business owners, providing a vital service, paying taxes, and employing our local residents, veterans, minorities, or at-risk individuals. Training and OSHA advancements included. Thank you kindly for your consideration. The next email is from Kika Renaya regarding what happened to Veronica. Dear Mayor Pacheco, David Goldstein, Councilmember Sean Ashton, Councilmember Rick Rodriguez, Mayor Pro Tem Claudia Frometa, and Councilmember Alex Saab. This is a forwarded letter that was sent to Siaka Shelter, Fox 11 News, KCAL 9, and ABC 7 News. Many volunteers and rescues are outreach with the number of animals, dogs, cats, kittens, etc. being killed at Siaka. We have found statistics which prove that in 2019, this shelter killed more than twice the amount of animals than all 6 of the LA City animal shelters combined. We wrote this to get answers about one cat that was killed and for all the rest that never had a chance. A beautiful female Siamese cat, 2018413, entered your shelter on May 13. She was available for adoption rescue on May 19. She is now no longer listed. When volunteers called to ask for her status, your shelter was not able to confirm that she exited alive. We are very concerned that you killed her on her first day of being eligible to adopt. You gave her 1 day to survive in order to be adopted or rescued. With such a tiny number of animals at their shelter, space is not a problem. With such a tiny number of animals, if there was a medical emergency, they have the time to alert rescues that an animal needs to exit. What did you do to her? Why are you killing 80% of cats coming into your shelter? Do you understand that cats have been massacred at your shelter that could have been given a chance to be rescued? We will be reporting your shelter for illegal and inhumane practices. That is all, Mayor.
Thank you. Is there a motion to close non-agenda public comment?
So moved from Alex Saab.
Second.
Okay, the non-agenda public comment period is now closed. Now is the time for consent calendar items. Members of the public wishing to address the City Council regarding consent calendar items only may now call our teleconference line at 562-299-6622. For those who submitted comments via email, your comments will be read into the record and no further public comment via teleconference will be permitted. City Clerk Duarte, do we have any speakers on the line?
We do, Mayor.
Can we have our first speaker?
Please state your name and begin speaking.
Brian Heyman. I'm commenting on agenda item number 11, the agreement with the police officers union. As I stated before in the public comments period for the closed session, I just don't think, given the financial crisis the city is facing, that we have enough visibility on our revenue projections that we can go out 3 years approximately on this contract with the police officers union. And as I said before, this is no time to be giving raises, and when we're facing serious serious fiscal deficits in the city here. We're bleeding to the tune of about $3 million a month in lost revenue. And yes, we do have reserves, but $30 million can be eaten up pretty quickly in other program costs. Those reserves, if they are used, should only be used for essential services. But getting back to the police officers and their union, I'm pro-police, but this isn't the time to increase salaries. I think this is the time that we should freeze negotiations. The police officers will have to continue on with the present agreement. And I think they may seriously need to consider taking a cut in pay or reducing the cost. It's all well and fine to have rank and file continue to get pretty much automatic increases when things are fiscally sound, but not with the financial crisis we're facing. The city can't continue to go on with everybody else in the city being out of work but the city staff. That's just not going to be politically acceptable any longer. You're seeing more and more signs of civil disobedience as a result of this. So stop negotiating with the police right now, and if they press it, my advice would be that to tell them, hey, you're lucky you got jobs and that you've got an existing contract, but we're not going to renew a contract going forward when we have no visibility or forecasting the revenue we're going to have to pay for that increase. I'm all for police and fire. We'll do what we can to help them, especially the rank and file, the folks that are out on the streets. But it's time to tighten belts and take one for the city. Everybody else is hurting the city except for city employees, and that's just not right to have it go on this way. It's not business as usual anymore. And I get the sense that no one in city government I've talked with and council seems to think we're facing a fiscal emergency here. We are. Wake up. You've got to start making some deep, substantial cuts, elimination of programs. You got to lay people off.
Your time is up. Please state your name and begin speaking.
This is Catherine. So I'm going to talk about the agenda. I don't know the number because I don't have it in front of me. But I read it that it says about the time to pay back the rent that is being down.
That's actually not on the consent calendar. That's the unadministrative report, so we're not there yet.
So are you guys going to talk about this again?
Yes, so we're not there yet.
Well, I'll call back again.
Okay, thank you.
Please state your name and begin speaking.
Amen. Didn't you see what the police did when they put their knee on that black man's neck and suffocated that nigger? That's what the city of Downey may do to you because they're niggers. They don't want to fix our budget. They don't want to pay our police for doing excellent policing while they sit there at the promenade eating their 2-hour lunches, or maybe park behind a corner sitting under a tree when they should be out patrolling. We got a better job for them. We send them around neighborhoods for 2020 graduation while these little niggers are screaming and yelling, there's going to be no job. You see, there's no more college, no more education. We are all fucking stupid. So, Heyman, you're right. These fucking politicians are something else. What the fuck they got up their sleeve? I'll tell you, corruption, abuse, fraud, and fucking waste. Waste like the sewer that goes up Eddie Garcetti's ass, the jackass mayor of Los Angeles, who's a conspirator of all these mayors, getting us into deeper budget cuts, getting us into furloughs, getting us all fucking into paying more taxes for no services. So as the NWA, let me reiterate that, NWA, as I am called, nigger with attitude, 42 U.S.C. 1983, fuck the mayors of California, stupid motherfuckers. Only 1% of them are smart. And like I said, I got my boy Republican Garcia in. Now you niggas got something to play with. We're going to get jobs. We're going to get businesses. We're going to get churches all functioning so we can pray for you fucking political assholes. So in turn, as hey man is right. Fucking stop giving yourself raises. Do your fucking job. Besides, those 4 officers got fired after they put their knee on that nigga's neck and beat him and suffocate his ass to death. Who's next, nigga? Who's next? Bagdasarian versus Pasadena. Shoot the nigga in the head if Herman could. Catherine Berger and you, Janice Hahn. And what about a senator from over there? You, what's your name? Goddamn fool. Fucking stupid Marine. That's right. I'm talking about the bad
Time is
guy
up.
who hasn't.
Do we have any other callers?
That's all, Mayor.
Do we have any written public comments on any consent calendar items to be read into the record?
We do not, Mayor.
Okay, is there a motion to close public comment?
So moved, Alex.
Second? All right, now, so closed. Now, are there any council members that would like to remove or abstain from an item?
I'm gonna, this is Alex. I'm gonna abstain from item number 3 and item number 9. Number 3, because that project is within 500 feet of my place of business. And then item number 9, because it also is within 500 feet of my home. And I will make a motion for the remaining items.
Okay, is there a second? I'll go ahead and make that second. Can we take a roll call? Can we take a roll call, please? Vote,
Yes,
please.
Mayor. Councilmember Ashton,
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez is excused. Councilmember Saab,
Aye.
Councilmember Flanagan is excused, and Mayor Pacheco.
Yes.
The consent calendar was approved with Councilmember Saab abstaining from items number 3 and number 9.
Okay. Next up on our agenda is 3 administrative reports. We have administrative report number 13 and 14, but we do not have the sufficient number of council present in order to take up these 2 items. So I am proposing that we table these 2 to the next council meetings, unless there's any objections as to those 2 items. Seeing none, can
So
we?
just to be clear, oh, go ahead, Councilman Ashton.
Yeah, I just wanted to, so based off of what's there, are there any issues that you guys see with what's been proposed as far as for items 13 and 14?
We're talking about to our city attorney?
To you, Madam Mayor, and to Councilmember Saab.
Would you like
Well,
to?
I think it's worthy of a discussion. Absolutely. I just think without having the 4th vote right now, it just be kind of, I think we need a 4th person to just have that discussion. I mean, I might be wrong here, but I would just feel more comfortable with having at least we have the 4th vote here, and or, to have a quorum, I guess you could say, for this.
And I agree with Councilmember Saab. I think it's important to have at least one more, either our Mayor Pro Tem or Councilmember Rodriguez present. Definitely, our Mayor Pro Tem would need to be present for the residential component, but we do need that extra person so that way we can discuss these two items, which are important items to be discussed, but we do need to have the input of an additional person, an additional council member. So that's why I'm requesting for it to be tabled to the next council meeting.
I don't know if that's actually correct, Madam Mayor, because I know in the past we've had discussions on stuff when we didn't have the fourth vote for certain emergency ordinances, where we've discussed it and then brought it back at another meeting. And again, my concern is I understand, we can't vote on it tonight. I just want to make sure that if there's anything that you see, that either of you see, that you feel needs to be adjusted or corrected, that we can kind of at least have staff look at that before we get into, having to vote on something and then realize it's not right.
I see what you're saying. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I see what you're saying, Councilman Ashton. No, I think, I think that was a directive, and I think we'll, there's the options, right? So, I think, yeah, I hate to have a phone discussion right now with that fourth person if we can't even take action. But I appreciate the report.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Councilman Saab.
Mayor, I would take the first item, if there's any public comment, and then take the second item, see if there's any public comment.
Okay.
There may be some comments about whether or not to continue and some thoughts about the substantive items.
Okay.
Just to be on the safe side, let's take public comment.
Okay.
For the first item, 13, and then you can do 14 after.
Okay, so we'll start off with item number 13. And as was explained, we cannot take action on this item because we don't have the sufficient number of council members present. And for that reason, we are going to have to continue the discussion of this item. But I am going to go ahead and open it up to public comment. So members of the public who wish to speak regarding item number 13, which is discussion and direction regarding urgency ordinance establishing a temporary moratorium on evictions of commercial tenants impacted by COVID-19 pandemic. If you have any comments, please call us at our teleconference line at 562-299-6622. For those who submitted comments via email, your comments will be read into the record and no further public comment via teleconference will be permitted. City Clerk Duarte, do we have any speakers regarding this item?
We do, Mayor. Please state your name and begin speaking.
Ralph M. Brown Act, 54950 to 54963. How the fuck do you not know better than to try to sneak vote something in without the consent of the public? We, the fucking people, demand answers to these questions. And we'll restrict those questions to the idea that you're trying to push this item before our objection or our correction, Madam Mayor. So the whole issue here, if you want to retaliate under the Bain Act 52.1, I'm not going to tolerate your shit. So you niggas need to get your shit together and shelve these items and let's get this meeting moving forward. It's already 8 o'clock and I'm missing my special programs tonight. Yeah, that movie about World War II, where those motherfucking Nazis were killing all the fucking Jews for power and money, the same like politicians do to the public of Downey. So if you can't fix the problem, if you can't check the problem, if you can't correct the problem, call the county board of supervisors. Those 5 niggas know what not to do. Those fucking assholes don't know how to answer our questions. That's why check yourself before you wreck yourself. Thank you, Willie Thomas, you fucking cholo chongo monkey.
Mayor, that's all. We don't have any other callers right now.
Thank you. Now we're going to,
If there's no written comments on this item?
There
oh,
was
sorry,
one
are there any
One.
written comments?
Yes, Mayor, there's one. This is an email from Priscilla Higgins. Thank you for your time. I will get straight to the point. A select set of business owners here in Downey have been not able to work, however, are still required to pay rent to the landlord in which their businesses reside. And we would like to know if you deem this fair or just. Unfortunately, it's been 2 months already and we have been paying rent, which is a requirement as of now. Commercial leases are expensive. Therefore, we are asking that there be a rental and lease freeze for the business owners that are not allowed to attend work. I know you all are considerate of our personal and financial needs. However, if you do find it in your hearts to freeze rent for those unable to keep our doors open, we truly would consider that a big thank you for all the years we've been proud tax-paying members of this great city.
Thank you.
And that's all.
That's all.
So there would be a motion and a second to continue item 13 to your next regular city council meeting.
Is there a
So
motion?
moved.
Is there a second?
Second. I don't know if I get,
Yes? You make a move, you can only move
I'll
for a
second.
I
second.
wasn't sure who got the first in. So.
Okay.
I'll second. Okay, so we will continue.
Roll call.
Okay.
Councilmember Ashton?
In honor, I was really proud of our advertising.
Yes.
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 Good half-page ad.
Well, you know, it's kind of interesting, you know, Mario, that when your article.
Yes.
So.
Councilmember Saab?
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Frometa is excused and Mayor Pacheco?
Yes.
The motion is approved with Councilmember Rodriguez and Mayor Pro Tem Frometa excused.
Wait, hold on. We didn't approve it. We just continued it, right?
Correct. The motion to table the item and continue it to the next meeting.
Okay. So on to item number 14, discussion and direction regarding urgency ordinance providing residential renters impacted by COVID-19 3 months to repay unpaid rent after termination of local emergency. So just like item number 13, we do not have the required number of council members in attendance. And so we are going to continue if everyone is in agreement, we will continue this item to the next council meeting. But I will also, again, open up this item for public comment. So members of the public wishing to speak regarding item number 14 only may now call our teleconference line at 562-299-6622. For those who submitted comments via email, your comments will be read into the record and no further public comment via teleconference will be permitted. City Clerk Duarte, do we have any speakers on the phone?
We do, Mayor. Please state your name and begin speaking.
Well, my name ain't Jose Weezer of Council District 14, bitches. But I want to talk to you about item 14, although it's not a part of the meeting since we don't have a quorum and we're violating the Brown Act. But I'll make a discussion on District 14. See, Jose Weezer said he's cocked to promote to his new girlfriend at City Hall, Francine Godoy, who he boned down at City Hall to give her a raise. So if you want a raise, you got to give some to get some. Pay to play. So on item 14, I object. I am sincerely disturbed by you pushing this item without the consent of Herman. Herman knows how to play. He plays to play with Cacahead Eric Garcetti and that jackass governor, Mr. Newsom. So thank you, Donald Trump, for sending out the battalions to cease over our churches and bring us back to prayer. Let us pray for CD14 that it does not pass. Let us thank our mayor there for not kissing Eric Garcetti's ass, and hopefully she won't sleep with any councilman like Jose Cheesy Weezy, who's been fucking around at City Hall, and the FBI probe is still ongoing. As you now read, little bitch Englander of the 12th district decided to call rat on Jose Weezer and CD14. So that's how we relate. That's how we get our communication effective. 42 USC 1983 / reasonable accommodations for 18 USC 242 245. Don't provide, don't deprive, don't deprive, don't take away our personal time, bitches. So as of time remaining, I reserve to give you back the balance, Madam Mayor. Good night, suck a cock, join the club.
Please state your name and begin speaking.
Bárbaro Rodríguez. Mi nombre, yo vivo aquí en la ciudad de Downey. Yo soy una persona que vivo hace mucho tiempo aquí.
Señor, permítame un momento, por favor. Permítame. Ok, le voy a traducir, pero solamente hable una oración y luego me deja hablar, por favor, para traducirle correctamente, ¿sí?
Ok.
Puede empezar ahorita.
Sí, mi nombre es Bárbaro Rodríguez y vivo hace 10 años aquí en la ciudad de Downey.
Okay, his name is Bárbaro Rodríguez, and he's been living in the city of Downey for 10 years.
Yo soy uno de los infectados del COVID-19 por estar sirviéndole a la comunidad, no solo de Downey, sino de la ciudad de Los Ángeles completo.
I am one of those affected by COVID-19 because I've been providing services in the city of Downey and the city of LA.
Le voy a preguntar a los concejales de mi querida ciudad, ¿en qué están ayudando ustedes a los residentes que están tan golpeados?
I'm going to ask the council members of my lovely city, how are you helping the people that are being affected?
¿Ustedes se creen de que con $1,200 que nos mandó el presidente, no nos mandó el presidente, de los taxis de nosotros podemos pagar la renta en esta ciudad?
Do you think that with the $1,200 that the president sent, well, he didn't send them, we paid them in our taxes, we can live?
Ustedes están tapando los números aquí, pero esta ciudad está bien golpeada con el COVID.
You are covering the numbers here, but this city is greatly affected by the COVID numbers.
¿No se fijaron el sábado ustedes que habían 4 bloques en esa iglesia ahí pidiendo comida a las personas necesitadas de esta ciudad? ¿Le da pena? ¿No le da pena a ustedes?
Did you not see on Sunday there were people lined up for 4 blocks asking for food at the church? Are you not ashamed of this?
Por eso esta ciudad necesita no 3 meses, tiene necesita por lo menos 1 año para la gente para que se restablezcan con sus rentas.
That's why renters in this city do not only need 3 months, they need 1 year to be able to reestablish themselves.
A ustedes no les está importando los residentes, a ustedes nada más les está importando los negocios grandes. Y ustedes saben cuáles negocios son.
You don't care about the residents, you only care about the large businesses, and you know which businesses those are.
Yo ustedes dejarían el puesto ahí y dejaría a otras personas que quisieran ayudar a la comunidad. Ustedes no sirven como para dirigir una comunidad.
I would leave, if I were you, I would leave your seat and I would allow somebody else to represent the city. You don't serve the city.
Da pena que ya viva en esta ciudad. Da un asco tener unos dirigentes como ustedes aquí, sinceramente.
It is embarrassing to live in this city It is disgraceful to have you represent the city.
Ustedes lo único que sirven es para poner tres inspectores atrás de una barredora, ponerle pico a las personas en la calle, que dejan su carro que están infectados con el COVID. Eso sí son buenos ustedes.
You're only good to ticket people for street sweeping, even those that are being affected by COVID-19.
Los de ustedes recoger dinero nada más, a ustedes no les importa su comunidad. Muchas gracias, que tengan buenas noches y ojalá que no se le infecte su familia.
You only care about collecting money. You don't care about your community. Good night, and hopefully your family members do not get infected. Gracias.
I'm going to take a brief recess. Our council meeting. Do we have any other speakers?
Yes, Mayor. Please state your name and begin speaking.
Hi, this is Joey from Downey. Just so you guys know, I'm sharing the link of this meeting right now on all the Downey pages so that the people can see that we can't see what you guys are doing. We can't hear what you guys are doing. So I've already told you this meeting is not accessible to the public visually or through audio. And this is a violation of the Brown Act. So if you council members continue to conduct business and take action on items within the absence of the public, then you are violating our rights and you are violating the Brown Act. So until you guys fix this YouTube, you guys should stop conducting business as usual because you are not doing your part to make sure that the public is informed. I'm trying to make a comment on item number 14, and I have no idea who's there, for one. I have no idea which way council members are voting or speaking. In the area where it highlights what words you guys use, that has never been accurate in the history of this page. So I can never tell what anyone's saying because you guys don't make an effort to even have the subtitles accurate for the public. So again, every item since you begun, we're now at 7:51 p.m. Since you started at 6:30, every item that you guys have gone over through has not been accessible to the public. This is a violation of the Brown Act. You guys need to cease your activity right now and make sure that you fix your communication systems before you continue business as usual. With that said, please fire John Askewy. He's on video harassing elected members.
That item is not on the agenda. Thank you.
And you guys need to make sure that we have better representation.
Sir, this is item number 14. Do you have any comments for item number 14?
What item is it?
Number 14, you have
You
1
know why I
minute.
can't tell? Because you can't make it accessible on YouTube. Nobody can tell. We have to read between the letters of the subtitles to try to figure out what you guys are doing. You guys can't tell us how you're conducting business and expect us to trust that you're doing the right thing or that you're saying what you're saying.
This item has been continued to the next council meeting.
So again, you need to fix this, Mayor and council members. You should not be okay with continuing a meeting that is not visually accessible to the public. You guys know better than this. And the fact that you're continuing this meeting in the absence of the public, and I say absence of the public, is not only a sign of how far you're willing to go to violate our rights, but it's showing negligence, and it's clearly a violation of the Brown Act. So again, you guys should terminate this meeting until you guys make this information accessible, and fire John Askewy because he is a violent offender who has instigated assaults against other people at the water basin. So with that said, that ends this public comment.
Thank you.
Are there any further speakers?
One more. Please state your name and begin speaking.
Hi, this is Catherine again. So I'm going to say a little bit about what LA County has been doing. They started the moratorium March 19, then on the 31st, and then on April 14, and then on May 12, and finally June 30 is going to be end unless it is extended, right? Applies to unincorporated areas and incorporated cities in LA. I searched for my city, and it comes out to only applies to commercial, not residential. This means that you guys are not doing the right thing. You guys are playing dirty. Why? Because of your selfish self-interest. This is unacceptable. Families are getting rent increase. Why am I getting these type of calls telling me, oh, I have a rent increase. I'm getting an offer to move out. Why? Because there's no payment. I'm embarrassed. All of your decisions, all of you, looks out for your self-interest, not the families or tenants that live in the city. I need all of you to explain the community. What does apply, what does not apply to the city. Why? Because even your own friends don't know what to apply as owners of apartments. This is ridiculous. Instead of making videos on how to do a postcard, should be making videos with instructed information about this, specific about this. 60% of these families right here in LA and Downey City are renters. I cannot believe you guys are still fighting for this. You guys need to put the hands on the table and start doing your freaking work.
Are there any further callers?
She hung up. No, Mayor, that's all.
Do we have any comments
I
to be
do
read
have
into the
one.
record?
Yes. This is from the Apartment Association of Greater Los Angeles. Dear Honorable Mayor Blanca Pacheco and members of the Downey City Council, at tonight's City Council meeting, the council will discuss the city's current rent repayment schedule for residential renters unable to pay rent during the moratorium period due to circumstances related to COVID-19. The city's current urgency ordinance provides residential renters with 3 months following the termination of local emergency to repay deferred rent as noted in the agenda memo. The council will consider maintaining the current ordinance provisions or proposed amendments which would establish a staggered repayment schedule of 6 to 12 months from the termination of the local emergency, depending on the timing of the unpaid rent and arrears. As the City Council deliberates the deferred rent repayment option, the Apartment Association of Greater Los Angeles requests that the City Council consider the concerns and recommendations set forth below. AAGLA has consistently recommended that renters and rental housing providers make best efforts to find workable solutions related to rental payments. Many of AAGLA's members are small owners and retirees who are dependent upon the modest rental income to support themselves, their families, and adequately maintain their property for their residents. Partial rent payments, repayments assist all involved parties. Housing providers receive a portion of the rent needed to cover some of their financial obligations related to essential building maintenance and to help with their own living expenses. At the same time, renters can reduce their overall amount of deferred rent obligations and avoid a large lump sum payment at the end of the repayment period. Accordingly, we urge the council to maintain the current 3-month deferred rent repayment period, which is reasonable and would not unduly burden rental housing providers who have also experienced adverse financial impacts due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Notwithstanding the foregoing, the City Council extends the deferred rent repayment period beyond 3 months after the lifting of the local emergency. We urge the council to limit such extension to no more than 6 months and to establish prorated repayments of the unpaid rent to commence at the beginning of the repayment period. Without such parameters, the likelihood that renters may not make any portion of the required deferred rent repayments until the end of the repayment period increases, as does the possibility that the renter will move out prior to full repayment. Accordingly, if the renter terminates the tenancy at any point within the repayment period, the total amount of deferred rent should become immediately due. Alternatively, rather than making renters responsible for a potential lump sum, and that is the 3 minutes. That is all, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to respond to one of the speakers' comments about the fact that when we weren't able to YouTube stream this meeting, that was somehow a violation of the Brown Act. And I wanted to advise the council that it is not a violation of the Brown Act. The governor issued an executive order that temporarily changed some of the requirements in the Brown Act. And what the governor has required at minimum in order to hold a lawful meeting under the Brown Act is that we provide audio for members of the public to hear the meeting, and that we provide an opportunity for members of the public to provide comments during the meeting as well. Both of those exist in this meeting. The fact that we don't have the YouTube element because of our technical difficulties does not make this meeting illegal, because we are providing the audio. We're allowing people to hear the meeting, and we're allowing people to participate during the meeting. And those are the minimum requirements. The YouTube video stream is in addition to those minimum requirements. So we do meet the governor's executive order. This meeting does comply with the Brown Act.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, that said, our city attorney is absolutely right. We certainly strive to have our YouTube and working at all times. As you know, we're not the first entity that's had some issues with live streaming meetings. It's happened across the country. It's not from a lack of trying to be prepared. We test our equipment right before our meetings. We double check it, we test it, and it just happens. And so it's one of those things. It's not we're trying to keep anybody out from these meetings. We try really hard to make sure it happens, but it's something that is beyond our control. We will be recording. We are recording this meeting, and it will be uploaded into our website for those that want to see it. I know that doesn't help you now in terms of being able to visually see it right now, but it'll be up on our website as well. So we apologize for those technical difficulties, but those are the challenges that we're living under right now. And we'll endeavor to keep trying, but it's not from a lack of preparation. We check this just before the meeting starts, every meeting.
Thank you. Thank you both for the comments.
So now would be the time to take a motion and a second to continue item number 14 to the City Council's next regular meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Can we take a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Ashton,
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez is excused. Councilmember Saab,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Frometa is excused, and Mayor Pacheco.
Yes.
The motion is approved with Councilmember Rodriguez and Mayor Pro Tem Frometa excused.
The next administrative report is to discuss and provide direction to staff regarding an emergency residential rental assistance program for low to moderate income Downey residents that have experienced COVID-19 related economic hardship. City Manager Olivas, do we have someone who will be providing this report?
Yes, that will be Aldo Schiller, Community Development Director, will be providing this report. I'm going to preface his report by saying this was actually an item that Councilmember Ashton brought to my attention. It was something that he saw, I believe, on a Zoom meeting, if I'm not mistaken, but it actually had some very interesting components. We thought, we discussed it. We thought it would be a good idea to sort of bring it forward and have the council look at it and give us direction in terms of how you wanted to proceed. So with that, Aldo, can you go ahead and give the council presentation, please?
Yes, good evening, Mayor and City Council members. Thank you, City Manager. As the City Manager mentioned, staff was tasked to do some research on establishing an emergency rental assistance program in light of the COVID pandemic and the economic downturn that people had suffered through job loss, furloughs, or reduction in pay. A rental assistance program could be in the form of a current monthly rent payment or rent that's been owed over the past months. And it could be made on behalf of an eligible household to their landlord or property management company or agent for a maximum time period that could be determined by the City Council. So for instance, council can determine how much time and when it starts. So the county order, for instance, went into effect on March 16th. And so council could seek to retroactively start the program in April to help people pay for the rent that they didn't pay in April and move that forward to a time in the future. Since we've submitted the council agenda memo, we actually are suggesting another type of payment to be used or funds to be used for this program. We initially thought our CDBG or home programs would be more appropriate, but as we dug into it, we also looked at our former redevelopment housing set-aside programs. And the housing set-aside programs, we believe are more applicable because they have less restrictions. As you folks know from the previous meeting, our CDBG and home programs, when we present them every year, we also reference the amount of restrictions, guidelines, income criteria, rent level restrictions that they have. Well, the housing set-aside program doesn't have that. Therefore, we'd be able to serve more people using funds from our former redevelopment housing set-aside funds. Applications could be accepted on a rolling basis, and grants could be awarded to income eligible individuals within our community, and it could be run on a first come first served basis. So for example, the program income qualifications for a family of 3 would be $83,500. For a family of 4 would be $92,750. And for a family of 5 would be $100,150. And that's for those family sizes. And I've got data on other family sizes if council needs that information as well. I just kind of want to give you a snapshot of what that would be. Other sample program eligibility criteria could be proof, once again, that folks are economically challenged due to the pandemic, have a residential lease agreement so that we have something to go from, have a current rental balance, and complete a program participation agreement. And once again, we would build that income eligibility criteria as we develop the program in the next couple of years, or excuse me, weeks, if council wanted to move in that direction. And we also have to talk about how much. How much do you want to put into the program? As a point of reference, we currently provide $700,000 on an annual basis of HUD home funds for our housing rehabilitation program. With that program, we serve 20 households and we provide grants of $35,000. Now, it's a different program, serves a similar population, but once again, gives you a point of reference of how much money can go into a program. And so I wanted to give you some snapshots in terms of that range. And so we did some research, and for instance, you know, the average rent for a 2-bedroom Downey is $1,893. So if you round that to $1,800, for instance, and we allocated $500,000 of this program, and we'd be able to serve 277 households. If you start ratcheting that up, and if we increase the program amount to $600,000, and we kept that subsidy at $1,800, we'd be able to serve 333 households in our community. If you ratchet that up even more, and you take it to $700,000, and you keep that rent subsidy the same as $1,800, we'd be able to serve 388 households. Now, once again, you can play with both figures. You can play with the total program amount that you're going to fund it at, and you can also play with the program subsidy in terms of increasing it or decreasing it, and based on the amount of people that you want to serve. So we recommend, once again, a program amount within that range. Based on council's direction, staff would return at the next meeting with program guidelines and a program application. So we'd be able to fund and start this rather quickly. So in 2 weeks, we seek council's approval, once again, on the program guidelines, the application. Shortly thereafter, we've got the program on the street. We'd market it through our social media platforms. We'd also reach out to the various property management firms within our community and apartment associations, and once again, establish something for the community. With that, I can attempt to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Do we have any council members who have comments or questions?
Although, thank you for the report. I really appreciate you looking into this. This it means a lot to me personally, but more importantly, I think this is something that'll do a lot of good to at least help with some of the issues that a lot of our residents are going through. One of the things you mentioned is kind of like playing with the numbers to see, how we could, how we want to help there. I would want, personally, I would like to know, what would be the way we could help the most amount of people?
If I can, Councilmember Ashton, the way, actually, Aldo and I just discussed this as we were preparing for the meeting this evening. And so there's a couple of different ways. One is the way you help the most amount of people is you do these sort of one-time payments, right? So if you're helping a family and that, let's say, is $1,800, rather than saying, well, we're going to help that family for 3 consecutive months, you just help that one particular family for one, and then you do it just as a one shot, so that you can help as many people as you possibly can. It's a real challenge because we have a significant need out there, and obviously we don't have an endless budget. But there's certainly something that we can do for those that are the most needy. Aldo did say that there is some flexibility in this, but I don't want to give the impression that it's willy-nilly and there isn't any guardrails, because there are income requirements and there are documentation requirements that are required for this money. The thing that we thought was really neat about the program is that it would allow for property owners to also, or assist property owners whose tenants are in arrears as well. So it accomplishes both. It helps the tenant and the property owner receive payment. So our suggestion or recommendation is that you do it, essentially do it for a one-time shot for a family on a month, for a 1 month basis. If you look at what the stimulus money is doing, it's basically $1,200 for a family of 2, right? In this particular case, you're talking about, let's say in a 2-bedroom household, it's $1,800. Now, it could be less if it's a 1-bedroom, or it just depends on what the rent is for that particular household. But that's an average that gives you a sort of perspective of where you would want to be. And that's how you can sort of maximize the amount of money for somebody that's, $1,800 for a month rent is significant.
I have 2 questions, if I can. Number one, how quickly can this be rolled out, if we pass this? And then number 2, I think you said it, or Mr. Schindler said it, but it would be on a first come, first served basis. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yes, that's correct. And to answer your first question, in Based on council's direction tonight, we'd come back at your next meeting, which is on June 9th, with program guidelines and an application. And as the city manager referenced with great insight, we would have a lot of applications and paperwork that would go with it. You know, every government program does, and we'd be monitored. So we'd have to show that people are eligible and provided, you know, accurate information. We'd also need to collect W-9s from any landlord or property management firm that's going to collect the rent on behalf of the tenant. But with that said, I think we could start the program at the earliest June 19th, at the latest June 26th. And so that's based on no changes or subtle changes from council after that meeting. And then once again, marketing and getting it up.
And I have a question.
Oh,
This
sorry.
money, I'm sorry, you had another question. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. And how do we plan on rolling it out to inform the community?
You know, I think the two methods that came to my mind was, once again, is utilizing our social media platforms, but I think also is tapping in to all the property management firms and the apartment associations. In speaking with a couple of those different property management firms, you know, they've got their fingers on the pulse of what's happening out there. They understand who's paying and who's not paying. They've got a large grasp over a tremendous amount of units within our community. So they'd be a good source of information as well, as would other apartment associations that service the region and provide that information. But we're also open to suggestions. Once again, getting the word out is getting the word out.
Can I just say, having gone through these programs before, I will tell you, you'll get an unbelievable response. You're not going to have a problem, you know, getting people. The challenge is, you know, tampering expectations that everybody's going to be able to get this, because it really isn't. And as soon as the word is out, it'll spread like wildfire. And so it'll be a first come first basis. But getting the word out or getting people to participate is not going to be an issue. Our challenge is just not having enough money.
I know what Councilman Ashton said earlier, and I appreciate it. How do we help the most? And that's, you know, obviously that's everyone's goal, I think. Would it be more worthwhile to not give the maximum to a fewer, but give, you know, less, but to more? You know, I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. I mean, forgive me for interrupting. It's one of those questions, and I think it's a good discussion point, right? Is, you know, how much do you give, right? Do you give the equivalent of 1 month's rent? Do you give the equivalent of 50% of the rent? Do you know, those are things that, you know, we've debated. It's obviously, you know, the less you give, the more that you can help folks. But, you know, is it more practical and meaningful to give something that is equivalent to a month's rent as opposed to 50%? There isn't a good answer. It's just, you know, ultimately what you guys feel is more appropriate and where you think the biggest impact. Now, we looked at it from just a month perspective, right? If you took the average of a month for rental assistance, whether that's $1,800 for a 2-bedroom or $1,200 for a 1-bedroom, whatever it is, that would be sort of the basis by which somebody would get some rental relief. You know, if they're in arrears, that helps the property owner, it helps the tenant. You know, short of that, maybe somebody still can't come up with the full rent, right? So we know that at least the property owner and the tenant can at least get, you know, 1 month of rent. And so we felt that would be kind of the easiest way to draw that line. And rather than coming up with some percentage, we do an equivalent of, you know, whatever the medium rent is for a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and a 3-bedroom.
I do have a question. Would this amenity be directly given to the tenant, or would it be directly given to the landlord?
Successful or the landlord.
Yeah.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
It goes to the landlord. But the models that Aldo has taken a look at that have been out there, it goes directly to the landlord, because the goal is to have a system that benefits both the landlord and the tenant. So the tenant gets the relief and the landlord gets the payment. So it's both.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
I did have one other concern, I guess, in relation to, you mentioned that we could get up to like 300 people taken care of with something like this. So that means you're going to get, 300 applications. What processes do we have to handle this type of paperwork?
Like staffing? Are you asking like staffing wise?
Yeah, more on our side to make sure that we don't get all of a sudden a deluge of paperwork and it bogs down the whole system.
It's going to be managed in terms of bringing on staff that we have.
Sorry, it's difficult to hear. Listen, can you?
Let me.
There you go. Much better.
Let me try to answer, although, look, first of all, we're going into a little bit of uncharted territory, but I will tell you this, is that the staff that we've had are familiar with these programs and are familiar with doing the intake. Now, what we certainly don't want to do is delay payments to folks. So we're going to try to streamline it and have a checklist of things that people need to bring in. And if they have those paperwork, they'll have the checklist of things that they need. Once those things are all taken care of, then we can issue payments for those. So that shouldn't be an issue. We actually have the money as opposed to requesting it from another entity. It's something that we have set aside for particular housing programs. So our goal is to construct something, and I want to commend Aldo and his staff because they're moving at lightning speed to try to get this program off the ground and to try to get something into people's hands as soon as possible. But it's a new program and something we're gonna create within the next couple of weeks and get it launched.
And so the funding for this, you said it's coming from where again, Aldo?
Sure, it's former redevelopment housing set-aside money.
And so we have, you said we had about 700,000, is that what you said?
No, I used the $700,000 as an example based on a similar program that we fund out of our HUD home program. Just to give you an example based on how much we've allocated for housing rehab to serve low moderate income households.
So then what type of funding do we have currently? And do we have a source to add to it in the future?
So if I could, so here's the housing set aside money is money that was left over after the demise of the redevelopment agencies. So that particular money that was set aside there was primarily used for things like Habitat for Humanity for permanent housing solutions. The other thing that we have set some money aside for was the Veterans Affordable Housing Project that's right in on Gardendale there. So that's money that we're looking to set aside. So there's about, what is it, $1.3 million, something like that? $1.8 million. So if we take some of the money that we were going to reserve for that housing set aside, for that Veterans Housing Project, and then you take some of the money that we have, we're somewhere in the neighborhood of about $700,000 is what we're looking at, between 5 and 7. So we're looking at about $700,000. And then the other money that we were looking at is for that permanent housing projects that will be constructed for extremely low income veterans.
So that this money is going to take away from that project?
No, it's not. It's we have some cushion in there, so that's why we're proposing to use some of that money.
And then besides that, there's no other source of funding?
There's ultimately down the road, which will take some time, there is our housing rehab program, our CDBG program, that we have allocated some money, I think this year about $400,000 that we can take out. That process is going to take a little bit longer, and those income guidelines are a little bit more stringent. So it's additional money, but it wouldn't be as sort of flexible as the housing set aside money. But yes, we do have additional sources. If the council so chooses, we can go down route as well.
But as of right now, we have approximately, it's around 700,000.
Yes, we're doing sort of, this has been really, really quick. So all those are going to go back and sort of take a look at this. We certainly need to take a look at where our numbers are, but we're pretty confident that that $700,000 is definitely there. And in terms of the CDBG money, it's roughly about $400,000. So. But that particular program means suspending that program. So, and that program goes to very low income folks to do basically, in many cases, code enforcement issues, health and safety issues at their particular residences. So, we don't want to, it's a little bit of a challenge because you don't want to take money away from that program because you are affecting somebody's potential health and safety at those housing rehab programs as well. So.
Any other questions or comments?
So then what direction would you need from us then?
So the direction from the council is, are you okay if we go ahead and set the payments for potential recipients to the average rental amounts for a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom? So your payments would be based on that and family size, right? So you want to make sure that the family size is, because you could have somebody that's a single person in a 2-bedroom home, 2-bedroom, but it'd have to be something that's appropriately sized and the average rent, and then it would be a rental assistance for 1 month until such money is depleted, which is roughly around $700,000.
Okay.
And then what we do is we would construct a program around those parameters, bring that back, and you'll have the amount, what the average monthly subsidy would be for 1, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, depending on the family size, and then we can go ahead and get it launched. Once that program is exhausted, you can certainly come back, gives us some time to see, what pitfalls, and if you ultimately wanted to take something from your housing rehab program, you can do that, but this at least gets us started and gets us going.
Okay. So if you don't have any other questions or comments, I'm going to go ahead and open up for public comment. No questions or comments? All right.
Public comment. Thank you.
I will now open it up for members of the public. Members of the public who wishing to speak regarding item number 15 only may now call our teleconference line at 562-299-6622. For those who submitted comments via email, your comments will be read into the record and no further public comment via teleconference will be permitted. City Clerk Duarte, do we have any speakers on the phone?
Mayor, we don't have any speakers on the phone.
Do we have any written public comments on item number 15 to be read into the record?
We do not.
Okay, thank you. So I just wanted, before we take a motion, I just want to say to Council Member Ashton, thank you for bringing this item to the agenda. This is important for our residents, so good job. Thank you very much. I will go ahead and entertain a motion in a second.
Motion to approve or motion to, yeah.
Second.
All right, can we take a roll call vote?
Go ahead, Sean. Sean, read out that motion for me.
Yeah, so motion to give direction to city staff to look into this program and set the parameters based off of average rental, average monthly rentals.
Good job, thank you.
Something like that.
Councilmember Ashton?
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez is excused. Councilmember Saab?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Frometa is excused, and Mayor Pacheco.
Yes.
The motion is approved with Councilmember Rodriguez and Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Again, great job, Councilmember Ashton. City Manager Rivas, do you have any comments?
Just a couple comments. Certainly it's been an interesting evening, and I will tell you the council's in a tough position. You're criticized if you open too quickly. You're criticized if you don't. So there's no real easy slot to be in. But in terms of the things that the council has done over this last couple months has been pretty incredible. There's been food distributions to over 5,000 persons. We've had thousands of meals distributed to seniors as well as wellness checks. We've distributed thousands of face masks. We've done food collection, food drives for the public. So I don't think anybody can accuse you of not caring about the community and certainly the things that are important, and making sure that we still provide the services that the community wants. And in terms of opening City Hall or anything else, we're always ready. We're ready to do that at a moment's notice. We've been planning. We have at one point bi-weekly EOC meetings, the Emergency Operations Center meetings, making sure that our first responders have the essential equipment they have, and our employees have the equipment they have in order to perform their duties on a daily basis. So there's been a lot going on over these last several years, last several months, in making sure that we keep the community informed. Anybody that's been following us on any of the social media platforms knows that we really put out stuff almost as soon as it happens. And so I want to thank staff for really going out and doing really yeoman's work in these days to try to get programs and services to our community as quickly as possible. So it looks like the county is certainly in the process of opening things up. I know that earlier today they met and it looks like there will be opening up some more retail here coming soon. We'll digest that information, the latest order from the county, and we'll put that out on social media blast as well tomorrow, and making sure that the public understands where we're going. And we also have a hotline that we established to answer questions from people as these new orders come forward. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and certainly the council has done an amazing job in giving staff direction and support to make sure that we're doing what we need to do. So thank you.
Thank you, City Manager Rivas. So thank you for all the information, and thank you to you and to staff who's been putting out a lot of information on our social media pages, getting the information out to the residents, which is extremely important during these difficult times. So now I am going to adjourn the meeting. City Council meeting is now adjourned in memory of all lives affected by COVID-19, and to Luis Jose Noy, father-in-law of Councilmember Rick Rodriguez. A moment of silence. Meeting adjourned.